Tonight, local companies the big winners as construction gets underway on a port at Lucky Bay, and Port Augusta's deteriorating T jetty to be finally demolished.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. A new port at Lucky Bay will reach a major milestone next week, with construction to begin on the $115 million project. South Australian companies have been the big winners, with a number of local businesses securing work.
After years of decision, debate and development, T-Port's Lucky Bay terminal is now sailing towards completion. It's designed to open up export markets for EP farmers and agriculture businesses, and it's promising new competition to the region that'll reduce costs.
Alone, the domestic haulage differences can be anywhere between $5 and $15 a tonne. That's a significant amount of money.
Come next week, residents will be able to see the progress. Work will begin on the facility, including the bunkers and earthworks between Lock and Cow. Construction of the grain terminal will start in July, due for completion later this year in time for harvest.
Actually being able to see construction work starting on site, it will be, I think, pretty exciting time for the growers.
It has a distinct SA flavour, with local companies including Lucas Solutions contracted to complete the works.
Developing the South Australian economy, it's about South Australian infrastructure. Why would we bring anybody else in other than South Australians?
For Cow, it's a new business starting up in an area looking for some diversification.
Many things have been promised in the past that haven't happened, so I think it'll be fantastic.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Port Augusta's local council has agreed to demolish the iconic East Side Jetty. The 137-year-old structure is one of the oldest landmarks in the town, but the cost of restoration has been deemed unviable.
It's held firm in this sand for over 130 years, but the East Side Jetty now has limited time left in the ground. The council signing away its life, passing a motion for its demolition.
It's 137 years old, so it's gone beyond repair. It then became a question of do we replace or not replace.
The T jetty has been closed for 2 years now. A 100-year mix of salt water and sand has all but eroded the pylons, making it a high safety risk. There's also the daily cost of security to patrol the area.
You'd have to question, is it good using money towards an asset that's actually not being used and can't be used, or should we actually be putting that money towards something else?
In 2015, the state government agreed on a 50-50 investment with council of $550,000 to repair and rebuild the T. The council was unable to justify this in their budget, and 3 years on, it's asked for a compromise, a small slice of that original funding to help with the demolition costs.
There's been some discussions already which has been quite favourable, and of course we want to lock that in writing and get their agreements to be able to do that.
The council says that the history of the jetty won't be fully lost, with the plan to keep the timber for possible future community projects within the town.
It may be that we use part of the timbers to build some community furniture around the place, so we can put some of that history back into the community.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
A two-day search for Scott Redman has come to an end with no trace found of the missing Adelaide man. Police are now considering their next options as the mystery over his disappearance continues to grow. John Hunt has the details.
Police entered Secret Rocks on Wednesday, hoping to find something that'll lead them to the whereabouts of the missing 19-year-old. They were joined by the CFS and SES as they searched thick scrub near Kimber, hoping to find a lead that'll help them begin solve this case. 50 personnel searched an area of 10 square kilometres near Secret Rocks, around the Wyler to Kimber Road. The area was significant, as this was where a black car Mr. Redman was allegedly in was found dumped. In difficult terrain, the area was scoured as they hunted for any sign of Mr. Redman's whereabouts over a month after he disappeared. After 2 days in the bush, the searches ended with no evidence found and no sign of the missing Adelaide teenager. Since he was reported missing in late April, police have conducted numerous interviews, public appeals and searches in an effort to find him. They're now heading back to the drawing board as they try to solve this case. While they're yet to officially declare his death, fears continue to grow by the day for his welfare and safety. Police have once again asked anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Mr. Redman is described as 178 centimetres tall and of a slim build, with blonde hair, blue eyes and tattoos on his arms.
One of the region's biggest fundraisers is getting underway. The annual Give Me 5 for Kids event runs for the entire month of June and aims to raise money for vital medical equipment for the Women's and Children's Hospital. The fundraiser is in its 24th year and has raised nearly $23 million in that time. Donation buckets will be spread out across our region, or you can visit giveme5forkids.com.au and be sure to select Spencer Gulf as the region. You can also contact your local Southern Cross Austereo office. After the break, a local campaign to get motorbike riders in the region to their destinations safely. That's next. The Far North Local Police Service has today kicked off its education-focused campaign, Operation Outback Bikes. The operation aims to educate motorbike riders passing through Port Augusta about the changed traffic conditions on the outback roads in a bid to influence behaviour. It was launched last year after police observed a spike in the number of serious injury crashes involving motorbikes in the region. The state government has introduced a wild dog trapping system to help combat an ongoing problem in regional South Australia. Livestock SA has welcomed the move, saying it'll help farmers from across the mid-north protect their cattle and sheep.
It's the biggest wild dog baiting program to ever be undertaken in South Australia.
To put $1.2 million over 4 years for the full-time equivalent of 2 trappers. As well as that, we are going to put an extra $200,000 toward a baiting program.
Local livestock advocates have welcomed the new initiative, but say the region is in for a battle.
We can bait the real hot spots. I think that's going to help, and the trapping programs that they're going to initiate are also going to help. But this is going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight.
They say with the dogs moving south, they're putting more and more pressure on the livestock industry and farmers.
They kill sheep and they'll also attack cattle.
The number of wild dogs in the region is still on the rise.
A dog that's been killing sheep for quite a few years just south of Orroroo. There was a dog shot at Kaltowie about 3 weeks ago. Also a dog shot at Laura. There have been sheep predated at Melrose.
In 2017, there were around 500 dogs that were controlled. Those numbers of dogs are increasing.
The campaign will begin at the start of July. Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
It's no secret the prevalence of mental illness is bigger than ever before in rural and remote communities. This week, a conference was held in Port Lincoln to put the mental health system under the microscope.
Bringing mental health possibilities to light.
One of the most important things is that we hear the voice of the lived experience and we validate it and listen to it.
Speakers included celebrities, comedians, community members and policymakers. One of them, former politician Kelly Vincent.
It's very important to hold these conferences in regional areas, particularly because compared to the metropolitan area, there is a shortage of services and funding available.
The conference hasn't just been about sharing lived experiences and stories of hope. It's also been a chance to open up the possibilities for new government support and increasing awareness for the services that are available.
We're planning to develop a set of recommendations out of the conference. Yesterday, the Honourable John Dawkins spoke and opened the conference as a guest speaker. He's chairing a newly established Suicide Prevention Council as part that will report to the Premier.
I think a lot of the regions are facing the same issues, which again is why conferences like this are so important, so that we can collect those ideas and together fight for improvement.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
The Silver City Cinema is set to host a milestone fundraiser for the Red Cross. The Red Cross ladies first came to the owners 20 years ago suggesting a fundraiser. Since then, the cinema has helped out everyone from schools to the Scouts.
We've raised for the Broken Hill community and all the fundraiser activities in excess of $800,000, which I'm so impressed and proud upon.
The fundraiser will be held on Sunday afternoon. Students from St Mark's College in Port Pirie have been lucky enough to immerse themselves in Aboriginal culture during Reconciliation Week, thanks to a special visit from Ernie Dingo. Year 9 students today learnt about the importance of Dreamtime stories while having a go at painting their own versions.
The concept of this thing is to maintain our Indigenous stories, to go through to another generation.
The TV stars spent the past week at the college discussing different cultural issues before heading to Port Lincoln next week. Still to come this Friday, a Port Lincoln sailing crew setting off for one of the nation's biggest races. That's next. Whyalla Samaritan College has celebrated Patrons Day, recognising the people who've guided the school's philosophy. The primary school campuses celebrated with a fun run and activity day this morning. Students, teachers and even a few parents got involved. The run was used to also help raise funds for the school in conjunction with a local credit union.
We're looking to upgrade our nature play areas around the school, so every year we do a fun run where the children get to do more than just run. They play all sorts of special games. They get to win some prizes as well.
After an exhausting morning, kids were treated to some tasty refreshments as a reward. Port Lincoln Boat Fresh is ready for its next challenge following a successful Lincoln Week regatta earlier this year. The vessel will set sail for the East Coast tomorrow to battle it out in Australia's second biggest yacht race in July.
Local legends on a mission to make the Port Lincoln sailing community proud.
We'll put together an all-Lincoln crew that we want to do the Sydney to Southport race. We did it 6 years ago when we first got the boat, and we're keen to do another one.
The boat is known for its success locally in the Adelaide to Lincoln races and Lincoln Week regattas. Hoping to play to the boat's strengths, there's some new goals to reach out east.
We're to win our division first. Anything better than that will be a bonus in the overall area. We'd probably prefer it upwind and windy, which is the most uncomfortable, but that's where we go. The boat goes its best and holds its own against the Grand Prix boats.
Getting her across the line will be an all-star lineup.
We've got Stephen Kemp, who's done lots of Sydney to Hobart and lots of Sydney to Southport. Andy Dyer, fantastic sailor. We even got David Buckland, our skipper, who's done quite a few Hobarts.
We've all done, I don't know, between us probably about 50 Gold Coast races and about 20 or 30 Sydney Hobarts between us, so a few America's Cup sailors on board, so lots of experience in ocean sailing. Hopefully we can do Port Lincoln proud.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Classic cars are set to tear through the rolling hills and dirt tracks of Burra ahead of this weekend's Rally of the Heartland. Over 50 vehicles lined up at the start line today, putting plenty back into the Burra economy.
Bringing nearly $2 million into the town and the district, just in expenditure by competitors and organisers and service crews, the spectators that do come.
The rally is certainly a challenge, with the course winding through the Flinders Ranges towards Jamestown. Hot on the heels of a major funding boost, organisers of the Broken Hill Perfect Light Film Festival have confirmed this year's event dates. It'll take place at the end of November, with over 1,000 people expected to turn out for its second year.
The perfect place for the Perfect Light Film Festival.
It'll definitely be going ahead, so we're very excited.
Earlier this week, the festival received a $20,000 boost from the state. Organisers have now penciled in the dates. November 31st will see the festival's launch, with the major screening of films held the next night. A workshop for the city's filmmakers will then take place on Sunday.
Obviously we'll have a great list of celebrities attending and judging, so we'll be announcing those closer to the date once we've locked them all in.
Around 300 people turned out for last year's event, the chilly conditions of the night turning a few away.
I think the word of mouth will be strong for this year, and we're hoping to achieve well over that number this year. We're looking at getting at least 1,500 people along this year.
And those looking to enter don't have to be a modern-day Steven Spielberg to submit a film.
We're calling on everyone who's got a smartphone to have a crack, basically. We would love to see entries from local schools, and we'll also encourage local filmmakers to show their works.
Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Time now for this week's footy tips.
Hello and welcome to round 7 of SGL football. This round starts with Port taking on West at Port Oval on Saturday. Port should win this one. Up in Port Augusta on Saturday, it's the undefeated South who host Sollies. I'm tipping South here. And on Sunday, at Central, we make the trip to Pirie to meet the Lions. I'm tipping the Lions.
Football is back at Bennett Oval this weekend. It is South Whyalla versus Central Whyalla at the main ground on Saturday. Central's really having a horrible season. South is comfortably sitting in the top 4, and I think they're going to have another easy win. The other game on Saturday at Memorial Oval, it's North Whyalla versus Roona Bay. Bay's big winners last week on their 50th birthday. They take on a North team that haven't won a game in 2 weeks. They had a draw last week, but they're still a pretty good team, and I think the Magpies will win. And finally, on Sunday at Bennett Oval, it's West Whyalla versus Rapina. Roos have been a bit inconsistent. They've had some fantastic wins, but also dropped games they perhaps shouldn't, and they play the league's top team, so West to win.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips. We kick this weekend off with the top of the table clash, Marble Range hosting Waybacks. Waybacks are currently undefeated, and Marble Range only lost their first game in round 1, which happened to be to Waybacks. Waybacks' defensive pressure is better than anyone else in the competition, and their backline's fantastic. In saying this though, Marble Range just have far too many goal scorers. I'm tipping Marble Range to win this one by 5 goals. In the next game, we've got Mallee Park hosting Lincoln South. Mallee Park have been playing really good football over the past month and are a far better team at home. I'm tipping Mallee Park to win this one comfortably. In the final game, we've got Tasmans hosting Boston's at Ravendale Oval. Tasmans to win this one by more than 10 goals.
Broken Hill football this week sees North take on Central at the Jubilee Oval. Central's have some very good players this year, but I think it'll be North far too strong in this game, be 20 to 30 points. Second game over the hill sees West take on South. Last time these two sides met, West kicked 4-2 straight in the first quarter to hold out South, but I believe South will be far too strong. It'll be 80 points plus.
Well, stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Amy. And with the weekend upon us, what's in store weather-wise, Amy?
It looks as though cloudy skies are on the way, Fraser, after a mostly sunny week. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Cloudy skies in some centres today, Whyalla and Port Lincoln reaching a high of 19, a mostly sunny 20 in Port Augusta, while temperatures in Broken Hill sat in the mid-teens. Taking a look at the satellite now, and despite cloud in the northwest, it's not bringing any rain. Skies clearer elsewhere with dry winds leading to cool days and cold overnight temperatures. If you're out on the waters this weekend, northeasterly winds will shift northwesterly at 10 knots with seas reaching 1.5 metres. The sun will rise at 7:15 and will set at 5:18. And before we get to tomorrow's weather, a big thank you to Dale, who captured this snap while seating at Mount Wedge Station. We're loving all your weather photos, so if you have one you'd like to share, you can send it through to localnews@sca.com.au. Now for tomorrow's forecast, and most districts can expect a cloudy start to the weekend. Maximums in Port Lincoln, Clare and Kadina sitting in the high teens. Meanwhile, it will be a mostly sunny day in Port Augusta and Whyalla. Looking into early next week, and possible showers will clear in Port Lincoln by the end of the weekend. Temperatures in Cleve will range between 17 and 19 degrees. Meanwhile, Woodna is set to experience sunny conditions and tops of 21. Maximums will cool down slightly in Whyalla by next week with 17 on Tuesday. Warmer days ahead in Port Augusta, with Kadina also set to experience their fair share of sunny conditions and a high of 18 next week. A fine start to the new working week in Port Pirie. Cloud will clear in Clare by Sunday with maximum sitting in the mid-teens, and in Broken Hill those fine conditions will extend into early next week with a top of 16 on Tuesday. So Fraser, despite some cloud around the Spencer Gulf, it's looking like a fine start to next week.
Time to enjoy the weekend. Thanks, Amy. And that's all from us for now. Thanks for your company. We'll see you on Monday. Good night.